Welcome to Take Back Your Time, a business owner's guide to self-planning. I am Sarah Grace. I'm Chief Operating Officer here at Mackie, and this is by far my favorite topic that we provide webinars on because it is something that I struggle with every day, even with all of these great tools. So I'm glad that you guys are here to learn about this tool as well. Our agenda today is pretty simple. We're going to talk about what the heck Take Back Your Time is, each piece of the puzzle, and really how to use this really simple tool to help self-plan. And we're really going to start with, I forgot to say this, how it fits into our overall process here at Mackie. So all of our work here at Mackie is built on the prosperity ladder. And similar to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can't get past level one until you've really fulfilled your needs there. So it is truly a ladder. You can't jump the rungs. And it all starts with data. We really firmly believe that if you don't have good data, you don't know where you are. And if you don't know where you are, you have no idea how to get where you're going. Next, we have to move to cash flow because every single business owner has had that fear or that time where they couldn't make payroll, they couldn't pay a vendor, they had to reinvest some of their own money into their business. Every business owner has had an issue with cash flow. So until you are confident in how the cash flows within your business, we can't move on to focusing on profit. And you'll notice it doesn't say revenue here because honestly, at the end of the day, revenue isn't really what we're looking at. I mean, it's nice. It's great when your top line is growing, but you need profit to invest in yourself, to reinvest in your business, to invest in your employees, new tech, all of that good stuff. So at the end of the day, we're really focused on profit. Once you've got profit aligned, we can work on owner lifestyle because typically profit and owner lifestyle are at odds. And lastly is legacy. So every business owner I've ever met has some legacy they want to leave, whether it's moving on, passing on to the second generation, or creating a foundation, or just doing good in the world through their employees and their work. So that's a prosperity ladder. Where this tool fits in is really an owner lifestyle because we're talking about self-planning and taking back your time as a business owner. And I will say though that this tool can work for anybody. It can work for business owners, managers, frontline workers. It really can work for anybody. It can work in your personal life and your business life. It's a very versatile tool. And so in terms of we also have an annual cycle of planning and development, and this is at the top. And this is a little counterintuitive, I think, to how most people work within their business. They plan their business and then they figure out how they fit into it. And what we advocate is that you plan for yourself and you make the business fit for you. Because if you are in your lane where you are passionate and you are on fire, and you are in flow, everything is going to come easier. Your business is going to work better. Your team's going to work harder. Your clients are going to be happier. So especially for a small business, it really starts with you, the leader and the owner. So the 5 steps to taking back your time, pretty simple here. We've got step 1, guide. Step 2, intention. 3 is roles, 4 is structure, and 5 is a test. And so we at Mackie call this the GIRST system. And that is maybe one of the most unpleasant acronyms ever. So we now just call it Take Back Your Time publicly because I don't want you to be talking about, hey, have you heard about Mackie's GIRST system? It's great, right? That just doesn't sound good. So we're going to take a look at each of these 5 components individually and talk about why they're important and why you have to have all of them to really make sure that you are working and living and leading to the best of your ability. So it all starts with a guide, and a guide is one word. Okay. And that's really hard, right? It's really hard to think of one word. But this one word, think of it as an anchor. So, especially as a business owner, especially like I'm a business owning mom. And so, and I also am a business owning mom who also loves to get back to my community. So I have like a ton of things in the fire. And I use this one word personally to help me, help make sure that everything I'm doing is in alignment and it's feeding me and not wearing me down. And so your guide is your one word, it's your anchor. It's what holds you to the world. It's what holds you into your work. It's that thing it's that mantra that you can say over and over and over again to help you filter out what's not best for you in your life. And so here are some examples. There's Brene Brown in Dare to Lead. She has a great list of values. I stole some from her, but your guide it's just that word. It's that reason that you kind of do what you do. And it can be different. It could be a different word for your life. It could be a different word for your work. It could be a different work for your community work or your parenting or anything like that. For me, I've chosen one word to encompass everything, and my word is love. I know, super woo-woo. But for me, if it's not love, I shouldn't be doing it. And so that means that I want to show up with love. I want to do what I love, and especially because I'm a pretty passionate person. And if I don't love it, I'm not going to be good at it. But I know there are lots of people. We did this with our team, and almost everybody said freedom, which is actually not on here. Interesting. I cut that one out, but freedom, right? Their guide word was freedom. Everything they wanted to work towards was freedom. There could be adventure, growth, hope. I mean, the list of words are endless, but what you need to do, really focus on what is the one word that is at the core of you, that is your anchor. And so that's a guide. So it all starts with one word, which is simple, but maybe complicated if you're not really used to inward reflection. So it could be that the way you do this is you just brain dump every word that comes to you, and then you scratch out over the course of an hour or a day or a week or something. You scratch out the ones that aren't really it, right? Or maybe you pick a word, but it's not quite close. And so you hit up the thesaurus, right, on Google. Love the thesaurus to find the right word. But anyway, doesn't have to be perfect, but over time you will hone in on what your one word is that will guide you. Next, we want to move on to an intention, and that is a one sentence. So if your guide is your anchor, your intention is like your North Star. It's what you're always trying to go to, and you may never get there, right? You may never get there, but it's that guiding light moving you in the right direction. So again, there's this pull of where are you, right? What keeps you grounded, and where are you going? And so that's how your guide and your intention work together. And it's hard to create one sentence that is your North Star. And so again, it might be that it's a paragraph or a page, or hopefully maybe not a book, but and over time, as you read it, you'll just start feeling like this is the important stuff. This is the stuff that can go to the wayside. You may throw it out altogether and think that doesn't work, but it's one sentence. So here are some examples. I live abundantly and lead with purpose. I start with love and always assume positive intent. I live a rich life and experience, or a life rich in experience, while having a positive impact on the world around me. I've seen intention statements that are, I am joy. There are intention statements that use lots of commas and all sorts of grammar to get to one sentence. But really, this is, again, one thing. Think of it as you want it to be small enough that if you had to cheat on a test, you could put it on your hand. So it's going to take some iteration and design, but I know you can do it. So where's that North Star? And again, start with just a brain dump. Start with writing words. Start with ask others why they do what they do. It's all about, this is a creative piece. This is a fun, creative piece of thinking through what your true intention is. And so once you've got your guide, your anchor, and your intention, your North Star, you have to think about roles. So these are 3 to 5 nouns, and roles are really this culmination of your guide and your intention. It's like, okay, so these are really, your guide and your intention are pretty out there. They're a little ethereal and ephemeral, and you need something concrete in the here and now. So roles are the 3 to 5 things that you're going to be in your work life, in your home life, in your whatever life. And they need to be nouns because you need to be able to say, I am blank. And so this is where the rubber meets the road in terms of we've done the big woo-woo work, and now we're saying this is what we're going to focus on in a real way. And the reason it's only 3 to 5 is because I don't know who says it. I'm sure that there's a great quote from some expert leader, but basically the saying goes that if everything is important, nothing is important. Or if everything is special, nothing is special. So 3 to 5, you can really only focus on 3 to 5 things at a time. And so that's why we advocate for 3 to 5. Man, that was a rant. Okay. Let's move on to some examples. These are in alphabetical order, not order of importance, but especially when you're thinking about this as a business owner, I think you want to look at, where are you in the life cycle of your business? Are you in a startup? Are you in structure building? Are you in succession? Where are you? And that might really be the biggest driver of what you need to be doing. The other piece is, what are you good at, right? Like, what got you into the business? What's your guide? What's your intention? What keeps you in flow, right? And I think we've all been in flow where you're working or you're doing something and it's like time has no meaning anymore, right? You're doing something, it feels like it's been 5 minutes and it's been 3 hours because you've enjoyed yourself so much. So what are the ways that you create the most value for your business and your team? And where can you be in flow so that you are increasing your energy, not decreasing it? Because if we're not doing things that we're uniquely qualified to do, and we're not doing things that bring us joy, or we're decreasing our energy, and we're going to have to go outside of ourselves and fill up that well some more. And so really your roles should be self-energizing, if that makes any sense. Okay. So you could be an administrator, right? You're excellent at seeing all the little pieces and making sure they all get covered. Or are you a coach, right? If you're moving into succession, you're thinking about how you're going to transition your business, maybe you're trying to coach a team to really see who has what it takes to maybe be the next person in line to lead this organization. Are you a creator, right? This is Gen 1s, like founders, they are creators. I think every Gen 1 has to just write creator down, because it's like ideas just come out of nowhere for you, right? And that's what keeps you really excited. Are you a designer? Is it that you need the box and you put everything in? Or an engineer? Do you see process and structure and you love making sure things are engineered properly? Or are you an explorer and adventurer? So there are lots of ways. Are you a thinker, a teacher? There are so many roles that you can have as a leader. But really it's about, where are you in your business life? What are you uniquely qualified to do? And what brings you passion and joy? So there are your roles. And so you just write down those 3 to 5 nouns. And so next we've got our guide, which is our grounding work. We've got our intention, which is our North Star. We now have our roles, which kind of like ground in reality what we're trying to focus on. And the next thing that we need to talk about is structure, right? So it's really great to have these roles that you absolutely know that you would be crushing it in, but there are probably lots of barriers to getting there, or you'd already have done it. You'd already be there. And so structure is, we're thinking about structure. We're not thinking about barriers. We don't want to think about barriers because I think we think barriers, that gets into kind of a negative thinking. So we're thinking about all the things that are the inverse of the barriers. What structures do you need to make those barriers non-existent? And when you think about structure, these are the 4 buckets you need to think about: energy, money, resources, and time. So, there's lots of structure that could happen to get you into the roles that you need to be in to move your business and your life forward. Energy could be your energy. It could be your team's energy and capacity. You know, there's, again, talking about what's filling you up and what's bringing you down. So if you are doing something that is just life draining to you, say you are a creator and you're doing your own books, that's an energy conversation. So that might be a number one priority. You need to find a solution that you feel confident in to do your books, to free up your energy. Money, right? Are you, there are lots of things that could probably instantaneously make your life better if you had the money to invest in them. So what do you need? Do you need $10,000? Do you need 500? Do you need $1 million? I mean, what does it look like? What kind of investment, actual dollar investment, do you need to make into the structures that will support you being your best self, your best leader, your best business owner, your best everything? What does that look like? Resources. Do you need new people? Do you need new technology? Do you need new equipment? Do you need education, or does your team need education? Like, resources is by far probably the largest bucket here that we're talking about in terms of structure. But oftentimes when we find when business owners are in need of this workshop, it's because they have hit their limit. There's no more capacity left. They're behind on everything. They're starting to feel like a failure. And it's like they're scared to either waste their time and energy on a new hire, or they're scared of investing in somebody outside themselves, or there's some kind of worth conversation of like, well, it doesn't take that much time. I could do that. So, but the resources, it's really important to get your resources straight. Executive assistant, a calendar program, right? Calendly or Acuity or something. There are baby steps you can take to free yourself up to then to do the big things. And we'll get into how to think through that in a little bit. And then time, your team's time, your family's time. What structures do you need around your time? Do you need to not have appointments until 10 a.m. or before 10 a.m. because you need time to wake up, to take care of yourself, to have some big thinking time? You're the leader of your life. You're the leader of your business. You have to put your oxygen mask on you first. Okay. So you have all the power around how you use your time. You may think you don't. It may be scary. You may worry that you're going to piss off clients, or your team's not going to think you're working very hard. But I guarantee if you put structure around your time that supports you being your best self, they will see the dividends and it won't matter. Okay, I have to get off my high horse again. I get really passionate about this stuff, guys. I'm really sorry. Okay, so lastly, the test. And this is actually not a test in the way you think about it. This isn't like, 50 multiple choice or, get your composition book and write an essay. This is your BHAG. So if you truly start leading, loving, working, whatever, in these 3 to 5 roles, and you're just crushing it in these 3 to 5 roles, what does that look like? Like, what does that get you? What is your BHAG? So say you are a connector, a facilitator, and a designer. So if you're really rocking in those 3 ways in your business, what is that? Why are you moving there? So you've got your guide and you've got your intention, which help you kind of with that internal stuff, but externally, how can you look around and be like, oh my gosh, I got here, I did it, right? So a BHAG is your big, hairy, audacious goal. And in typical business jargon, in typical business like vernacular, that is a numbers-based thing. But actually, we're using it in a way that is completely non-monetary. So your BHAG, your test for taking back your time, is not monetary. We're assuming the money is supporting yourself in this test. What it is it's an experience. It's a way of living. It's something that feels so far removed from where you currently are. And you would just be elated to have this kind of lifestyle. So maybe a mid-step, my successor running the day-to-day operations by the end of next year. Maybe you are so deep in the day-to-day that you can't even think about being strategic. So maybe that's your BHAG now. Or maybe you're close, but you still have some nagging things that get you out of the day-to-day and get you really into a CEO, a leader level. So maybe your BHAG is a 6-week unplugged sabbatical in the next, but by the time 2 years hits, right? From now until 2 years. I know, and it's like, and this could be a great one for somebody who's in an eminent succession, 5 to 10 years, which is an eminent succession. Maybe this is your test. You know that if your business is still there, still growing, still thriving for 6 weeks unplugged, you might have the right team. You might feel a little more confident about leaving for good, right? And I bet there are a lot of people on this call or out there watching this video that can't even fathom taking a 6-week unplugged sabbatical right now, but they would love to. Well, maybe put it down, write it down, and think through all the things that are in your way to get there. And maybe it's a 4-day work week for the entire company within 5 years. Maybe that's like, maybe you and your team are running at such full tilt that you can't even think about working 6-day work weeks, right? Everybody's working so hard. So your test is something that's deeply personal and something that is incredibly motivating, right? That would it's not, this is good enough. This is, oh my God, I can't believe that this is the life I live. That is your BHAG, because it needs to be something so big and exciting and life-changing that you would actually maybe take some risk to get there. So 5 things, right? Your 5 things. So how do we put it all together? So we've got these 5 pieces. And we're just going to walk through a really quick example. And I'm going to make sure, okay, we're at 10:20. This is a 45-minute meeting, and I'm going to get you out of here before 45 minutes so that you can start taking back your time. Okay, putting all together. So guide, your anchor. It's one word. Let's say it's passion. For this, I don't actually know who this person is, but we're going to go through their example. So this person has decided that passion is their one word. And then their intention, which is their one sentence, is to live abundantly and lead with purpose. Okay, so they've got the anchor and passion. They've got this, I want to live abundantly and lead with purpose, that's moving them forward. And then when they look at what they're uniquely qualified to do, where they are within their business life cycle, and what brings them joy, passion, energy, they believe they need to be an activator, a creator, and a teacher. And we ask you to have just one noun. You can go ahead and create descriptions for these for yourself. So an activator to me means X, a teacher to me means this. Like you go ahead and really robustly define those for yourself and for your team, right? I mean, once you do this, share it with your team, because, well, we'll get there. Structure. So barrier busters. What do you need to do to get you into these 3 roles that'll then get you to your intention and your guide? Well, if I want to be a teacher, I want to get an IPEC certification, which is a coaching certification. I want to be a content creator. So I need our MailChimp newsletter list needs to be revamped so that I can get content better, created content out to people better. Product manager, right? I need a product manager because I want to activate things. I don't want to manage things. I need somebody who's really good at keeping what I've created running. And there could be a lot of other things here, but we're keeping it simple for this webinar. And then the test, the BHAG. This person, they're looking at their life. They're thinking, oh my gosh, this would be the thing. This would make me an over the moon happy. So their BHAG is, I'll be spending most of my working time as a sought after keynote speaker within 18 months. So they've defined most of their time as 80%, and they've put a timeline to it. So the more granular you can get about this, the more specific, the more likely it is you'll achieve it. And and at minimum, you have to put a timeline on it. Because if you don't have a timeline on it, it's not a goal, it's a dream, right? But this person, it's not about taking more time off. It's about leveling up who they're interacting with and how far their message is getting spread, which is really interesting. So it doesn't have to just be about taking vacations or taking time away from the business. It could be transforming who you are within your business. That is your BHAG. So, okay, you've done all this work. You've taken, you took half a day to think through your rough draft, and, you've pulled it out because it's, and you just, put it on the shelf, and you did a little bit, maybe more than you expected, and you got a little farther. But it kind of just felt like an exercise. So it is. If you just stopped here and you filed it away, it'd just be an exercise. And we don't do just exercises here at Mackie. Everything is a process. Everything is everything is a living, breathing thing. So tips for success. So you have your GERST written. Oftentimes people fall down because they get really, really hyped, right? They're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I want to go after this. I know the roles I need to do, but then they have so many structures that are needed that they can't even think through. Like they just can't, like they shut down thinking through all the things they need to do. So what I would recommend is sort and filter your structures. And we like to use 1, 2, 3 and ABC because oftentimes we find you have to have a matrix oftentimes to really get perspective on what's going on. So, sorting your structures, sorting all of your structural needs into some buckets, right? We talked about money, time, energy, resources, and maybe yours are different. Maybe yours are people, process, tech, like whatever they are, but get some broad buckets that'll help you sort them and then filter them, right? Filter them on what's the easiest to do, right? Maybe 1, 2, 3 is easiest to hardest. And maybe ABC is most important, like most life-changing to least life-changing. And then you start to get a context around what to do first, right? What to do first to help you get where you need to be. So sort and filter your structure. Don't get overwhelmed. Create deadlines. Everything on your structures should have deadlines. Your BHAG should have a deadline. We are creatures, we are all procrastinators. Well, I'll take that back. Like 1% of the human population is on top of it and loves like doing things right when they're assigned. Those are the Monica Gellers of us all. They don't, I'm actually maybe, no, I do know like 1 or 2, but they're unicorns. Most of us are procrastinators. Unless we have a deadline to work towards, we're not just going to do it, right? And especially if you're an overwhelmed business owner, it's not going to happen if you don't, unless you set a deadline. And deadlines, again, are all well and good. But if you just put this thing, if you sort and filter, do all this work, put deadlines to it, and you put it away, well, you're going to forget your deadlines. So post your GERST prominently. Write it up on an 8.5 by 11 and like put it on your wall behind your computer. Pass it out to your team and share it with them, saying, this is where I want to go. This is how I think we can get there, and invite them to do the same for themselves. You could have some great coaching conversations, maybe uncover some future leaders, and maybe uncover people who might need to take their leave, right? But post it prominently. Write your guide word on your mirror every morning, so you look it up. I'm not going to say have your intention tattooed on you or something, but maybe maybe your background of your computer is your intention statement, right? Post these things prominently so they're in your consciousness often, because the more they are visible to you, the more ingrained they're going to be in your everyday thoughts. And then engage others. So studies have shown that when we share our goals with others, we're more likely to achieve them. As somebody who struggled with losing weight forever, sharing my goals with others just terrifies me. I do not like doing it because I don't want people to think I failed, but therein lies the reason that you do it, right? most of us, while we're mostly procrastinators, we also hate failing. So if you share with others, one, you can create some people who are supports, right? And they can say, if you share with your team, somebody could say, I would love to take that role that you're doing that you don't want to do anymore. Or maybe you've got somebody who's like, hey, I'm great at XYZ. Let me share with you how I do that. So when you share with others, not only are you creating a little bit of a fear of failure for yourself, you're also creating a support team that is there for you, that can be your quarterback on some things, be your be your professional nag with others, be your coach, be your cheerleaders. So engage others. Go find people who do who have gotten to where you want to go and ask them how they did it. So this has to be something, if for GIRST, I hate that word, for GIRST to work, for take back your time to work, these are the 4 things you got to do with it after you're done. Sort and filter your structures, create deadlines for everything, post it prominently to make sure that it's in your consciousness, and engage others in the work. And you won't be sorry. I promise that. Okay. I got you out within 30 minutes. I feel really good about that. This is me like my COVID-19 wait ago. But anyway, who cares about that? But this is me. This is everywhere you can find me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm in Instagram. We got a website, of course. So you can find me anywhere. And I'd be happy to connect with you and talk about your Take Back Your Time GIRST system. So please connect with me. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. If you've been in this webinar, it probably means that you're having you're overloaded. So I really, really, truly appreciate you taking the time to connect with us and spend 30 minutes figuring out how to maybe help yourself a little bit. So have a lovely Monday. Thanks so much.